Hello and good afternoon. Welcome to our podcast. Today we'll be talking about the California wildfires and how it reflects historical criticism. Today I'm with Mick, Frankie, and Brad. So basically we have three main topics to relate information to this podcast. These topics are technology developing over time and how it just gets better. And the changing of the land in California over time.
How it gets worse.
Yeah, over time. And the effect of the fires on the farmers' lives itself. So the first topic will relate back to is technology. Argument is that technology affects the ability to put out fires in a much more advanced way today than it did back then. Hold on.
Here.
So, do you guys know, there was a fire last year or something? It was
in California, yeah.
Yeah, it was the biggest fire since ever. That fire is pretty big now. It's I think it was 410,000 acres, something like that. Crazy. But
that's half New Mexico.
For real. And after all the evacuations, there was 200 people missing reported.
Damn, so they could just be dead too.
Where'd they go?
For real.
Yeah, they're probably just in the fire.
So what makes wildfire so dangerous then?
Well, it's just fire, bro. What do you think,
Well,
Brad?
the facts here says that the fires are more dangerous in California due to the winds, dry air, and the dry ground, which makes sense because it's a desert. So.
Yeah. They're in a drought.
Yeah, they're in a drought.
That would suck. Hey, how much money did it take to put out the fire?
How much money? Let me see. I'm pretty sure it was nearly $3 billion. Honestly.
$3 billion?
Yeah, because it had federal authorities. They were saying how much it was. But
well, yeah,
it's a lot of
billion
money.
is a lot of money.
Yeah. But
all
I
that
to say that very
tax money.
All this information.
Yeah, do you think most of that money was tax money or probably
It
tax
could have
money?
been, yeah. It could have been from taxes.
Government's probably
Yeah.
pretty pissed.
All this is just showing a comparison to historical criticism, as the fire we cited earlier would have been much easier to put out with the current technology that we have.
Yeah, I think so
That
too.
makes sense.
Way easier.
Yeah, they'd probably be able to put out the fire easier.
There's probably more firemen today, too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy how dry California was and still is, you know?
Yeah, it's been dry then, but not as dry now.
Not too good.
Yeah, so the next topic will be we'll relate back to is how land over time was gathered worse and worse.
Yeah, I mean, well, it has. I would visit my uncle in California, and
Really?
the air was just super dry, and the air was also really polluted, and I have a feeling that has a lot of effects on the wildfires, you know?
Yeah, my brother lives in California. He moved from Arizona to California a couple months ago, and he's talked about how dry it is up there.
That's crazy.
I didn't know you guys had family in California. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Arizona's dry, too, so that's crazy that there's more fires there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly. Also, Nick, about your family, do you think it could be damaging you too when you went and visited? Because if it's damaging plants, you think it could be hurting you too?
Yeah, it probably hurts the
Yeah,
people
I
that
mean-
live there every day.
Yeah, for sure. It also has effects on the society. I mean, such as inflation, because the farmers can't produce that much, so price will go up, and that just messes with all of the money, you know?
This relates to historical criticism because the land was once very nice and was less likely to catch fire. So the past decade has just gotten like a lot drier over there in California.
More
And
fires.
yeah, back then no one had to deal with so much damage once, like all at once, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So like this
Yeah,
is
like
pretty
a little
crazy.
flood
for
or
the-
something.
Yeah.
Compared to a whole wildfire like that.
Oh wait, and so I'll read the third point for this.
Yeah.
I
So,
forgot the second point.
in some areas, like, that were less of a priority than others and didn't get as much as they helped, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I see where you're getting at that, you know. It's important.
It's pretty
to think
crazy
about
because
that.
like we were in New Mexico. Look for that third paragraph. We were in New Mexico and like last year I would wake up like the smell of fire and my parents would
Yeah,
be like,
smoke in the air.
yeah, the
For
parents
sure.
would be like, oh yep, that's the fire from California, and it's just pretty crazy.
How far are we? Pretty far still for a whole
Yeah.
fire from that far to touch us.
So we talked about technology, right?
Yeah.
And then we just talked about the land. So let's
So we have our last topic.
yeah, our last topic is talking about like the farmers' lives and how the fires affected it. So like, have you guys noticed since the fires have gotten worse over the years that like farmers have changed because of the fires, like their lives itself? It's just
Yeah,
crazy.
They
I
had
can
to
imagine.
adapt.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, it's crazy. Cause like it changed because like they're losing their crops, and like from these fires. So that's like they're just losing their money basically.
Yeah, I see
Yeah,
that.
that's all their money. It's just
Yeah.
those crops.
Yeah, and these farmers like they lived off those crops, you know. So like without their crops, bro, like they could no longer be farmers basically. So like because of the fires, like their lives have changed like drastically. And it's not
Yeah, that makes
They probably
sense.
Yeah.
wouldn't have any money at all.
and it's like it's not just the farmers' lives being affected, you know. It's like
I couldn't even imagine how many families are like being damaged from the
yeah,
fire.
and it's not just farmers, it's families and people and like they're all
markets
being
too.
yeah, like
They're not
the,
getting the supply.
yeah, markets are getting burned and
Demand
everything,
is
so
going up.
demand is going up, but like they don't have supply, and it's just like the government's getting affected, and it wasn't really like this when the fires were that crazy, you know.
Yeah.
It was pretty wild, and like
It's crazy the effect a fire can have on a city, you know.
yeah, like for
Whole
real.
city just gone. All the farmers gone.
Wasn't there like 12,000 buildings?
Yeah, it was a lot. I heard like the fire spread like I think it was like a football field a second. That's how fast the fire was spreading.
Damn, that's fast.
I can't even imagine a fire going that fast.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
terrifying.
well, think about it. You watch football, they're not running that fast. So,
And like people need the farmers to like give out produce, and it's just not happening because all their crops are burned from the fires, and it's just affecting more people like that.
so, Xavier, how many families exactly do you think were affected by the wildfires?
I'm guessing a lot, right?
A lot.
Let me look it up real quick. It says here it was probably like 13,000 families.
It's a lot of family.
13,000.
13,000 families.
Probably like 5-6
And it
people
also
in each
says,
family or something.
Yeah, that's
Like
crazy. How do you think the fire even got to them? They didn't
Whoa.
evacuate in time?
it just affected them by
Or do you think it just affected
like the way they
Like
lived.
They probably had to pay more money for bread at the store.
So like
Think about
these
it, 'cause all the crops are gone.
these like
Yeah, probably the
wildfires
air, you
like
couldn't even breathe
they
or
had-
something.
that happened recently. These fires, they just like there's a lot to fall under historical criticism, you know.
Yeah.
And
Well,
with how
Xavier-
the technology over the time affected the wildfires, like, and with the land over time changing, and now the people, it's just crazy.